The news shocked the world. After almost 2 decades of marriage, one of Hollywood's most iconic love stories, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, had ended. What might have possibly ended a union that had endured addiction, fame, space, and time? What did Keith Urban do which left Nicole walking away from the man who once referred to her as his miracle? This is the tale of love that was fated, committed, and, in the end, doomed, romance that started in the spotlight of Hollywood and broke quietly into heartache. When Keith Urban appeared on stage during his 2024 world tour, with devoted fans spotting him there, something eerily different about him caught their attention. He performed the same songs, played the same guitar, but his wedding ring had vanished. And then, during the final show, his voice broke when he changed a line to the words, "We were forever once." The crowd went silent. Some believed it was an error. Others recognized it wasn't. Just days afterward, Nicole Kidman was spotted alone at a Paris charity gala, her hands empty, her smile forced, her eyes far away. It was finished. And still, the world couldn't help but wonder, how did one of Hollywood's most stunning marriages fall apart? To find out, we need to look back, before the glamour, before the heartbreak, to the evening two hearts first bumped. It was January 15, 2005, at a celebration of Australians in the entertainment world. Nicole Kidman, looking lovely in white, had just emerged from one of Hollywood's most high-profile breakups in recent times, her split with Tom Cruise. She had vowed to give love the boot, declaring herself content in solitude. On the other side of the room, Keith Urban loomed with quiet poise. He was already a country music sensation, but painfully shy in her presence. "I was thinking in my mind, she's way out of my league," Keith would later confess. He didn't even call for months. But fate, it appeared, had other plans for the two of them. By the time he did finally call, Nicole reported feeling something unusual, a peace she hadn't felt since childhood. It was like coming home, she admitted years later. Their romance was quaint, letters, long road trips, shared laughter. In a time of instant relationships, theirs seemed timeless. In June of 2006, under a moonlit sky in Sydney, they exchanged vows before friends and family. Nicole wore a bouquet of gardenias, white, the flower Keith loved. He sang to her that evening, his voice shaking with emotion. And for a fleeting moment, Hollywood felt as if it had seen something truly holy, love unmarred by fame. But what the cameras didn't capture was how tenuous that joy was already. Only 4 months into the wedding, Nicole was standing outside the door of a rehab facility, pleading with her new husband to get help. Keith's years-long struggle with addiction, one that he believed he'd put behind him, had come back to haunt him. As the world was still basking in their ideal love, Nicole was struggling to save the man she loved from himself. "She saved my life," Keith would later tell her. And he wasn't kidding. When he finished rehab, he explained to friends, she didn't walk away when she could have. She stayed. From there on out, their marriage was a tale of redemption, evidence that love could vanquish even the darkest demons. Or at least everyone wished. They pulled back from the Hollywood glare to a serene farm just outside Nashville. The media dubbed it their healing haven. In 2008, Sunday Rose was born, their first daughter, a name chosen from the happiness of new beginnings. And in 2010, courtesy of a surrogate, their second daughter, Faith Margaret, filled out the family. They looked serenely contented, raising their girls out of the glaring lights of cameras, visiting school performances, and holding family dinners as sacrosanct. Keith would frequently remark, "Everything good in my life began when I met her." But love, even the strongest kind, can bend under the weight of two powerful careers. Nicole's film career was soaring again, Australia, Rabbit Hole, The Paperboy, Big Little Lies, while Keith's music took him across the world. For years, they mastered the impossible dance of distance, weeks apart, then tearful reunions. In interviews, Nicole admitted, "We've never been apart more than a week. That's our rule." But fame has a tendency to try even the best of intentions. By 2018, rumors had started circulating, of tension, of unspoken resentment. Keith's grueling touring schedule. Nicole's difficult shoots. Two lives headed in opposite directions, even as they held on to the same promise. The first public indication came quietly. At the AFI Life Achievement Award in 2022, Nicole was teary-eyed as Keith performed. Photographers captured him looking at her with longing. It was a moment that went viral, the shot of devotion. But as observers later would realize, Nicole had looked away during the last verse. No one gave it much thought at the time. 12 months later, the world would sit in front of that same footage again, seeking secret meaning. While tabloids invented tales of emotional estrangement, both Nicole and Keith were still publicly together. In interviews, she attributed to him being her rock. He referred to her as the love of my life. But friends allegedly sensed the quiet in between. More time apart. Less time together. And then, one clip turned it all upside down. It was a vintage clip, Keith on stage, years earlier, singing "Without You." In it, his eyes shone as he glanced at Nicole, belting out the words, "Everything I have because of you." The clip circulated on social media just days after news of their breakup started spreading. Fans filled comment threads with heartache and shock. But what really caused shockwaves was another video, his recent concert performance where he altered that very same lyric to "Everything I had because of you." One single word, had, and the world knew the fairy tale was over. By early 2024, Nicole and Keith ceased to appear in public together. No anniversary posts. No red carpets. No social media affection that once characterized their bond. Paparazzi shots spoke the rest, Nicole alone, head down, her former signature smile erased. Keith, in the meantime, was tired, his music laced with sadness. When he finally spoke before the audience, his voice broke as he uttered, "Some stories don't have villains. Just people who couldn't hold on." This was the nearest to a confirmation that the world would ever receive. Sources close to the couple said the decision to part ways was mutual, peaceful, respectful, and rooted in love, not anger. They wanted to protect their daughters above all else. Nicole, ever poised, threw herself into her work, appearing at film festivals, promoting projects, smiling through the pain. But when asked about her marriage, her answer was heartbreaking in its simplicity. "I'll always care for him. Some love stories don't end, they just change form." Keith said nothing, preferring to speak through his music. His next album, according to insiders, is full of songs concerning closure, memory, and forgiveness. What made their tale so unforgettable wasn't the glamour, it was the grace. From the moment that Nicole stood by Keith at his darkest hour, through the way in which they brought up their daughters with humility and tenderness, theirs was never a Hollywood illusion. It was real. Flawed, messy, deeply human. And even in death, they were kind to one another, a quality not found in a world that thrives on scandal. There is something elegantly poignant about two people once being saved by each other. Nicole once stated in an interview, "I believe in love, in every form. It doesn't always last forever, but it always changes you." And Keith? He explained to Rolling Stone years ago, "She gave me my life back. Whatever happens, I owe her everything." Perhaps that's the beauty of their tale, it takes two souls who healed one another, even though their lives couldn't remain on parallel tracks. Their love didn't fail. It served its purpose. Hollywood love tales come and go, burning brightly and then vanishing in an instant. But Nicole and Keith's journey will always stand apart, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. It showed the world that love can survive addiction, loss, and time, until it can't. That sometimes the bravest act isn't holding on, it's letting go with love still in your heart. And maybe that's how their story should be remembered. Not as a tragedy, but as a testament to forgiveness, to perseverance, and to the bittersweet reality that even fairy tales sometimes end quietly. They started out as strangers who found light in each other's darkness. They braved storms hand in hand. And even if the world would never hear the full reason why they eventually lost their way, one thing cannot be denied. For almost 2 decades, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban demonstrated that love, in its finest form, isn't even forever. It's about metamorphosis. So maybe their love tale didn't have an ending after all. It merely transformed shape, like music dissolving into silence, leaving the reverberation of a tune the world will never forget.